Onto the right page. So when we think about, nighttime eating, we've got this thought of, raiding the fridge, waking up in the middle of the night. But nighttime eating can really come about as anything from your last evening meal through to, midnight feast. And it's a very sort of common problem that people deal with, struggle with, and the solution isn't always what you think it is. So tonight, I'm going to take you through this and look at 5 areas that impact that and some tools and some ideas to help overcome that. So what we need to do, though, is remember the basics that we've talked about, all the trainings we've done, all that education we've done, they still apply for nighttime eating, okay? And this is like having clear lines for you about what healthy food is and isn't. So, getting rid of those stories we told ourselves of, that snack won't harm me. This will, this is healthy, that's unhealthy. The simple rules that we set ourselves, not guidelines. We've got a rule in place. Not stringent food rules created by ourselves for ourselves. We've got to remember that we've got a name like a critic and listen for it, convincing and seductive lies to get you to cross the lines that you've set for yourself and abandon your plans, because it's always those whispers, those little, you deserve it, you've had a tough day, you're a bit hungry, it make you feel there. Then we've got to remember we've got to apply compassion and forgiveness for ourselves. Okay. And if we make a mistake, but please remember we always operate with 100% conviction and certainty we can do this. Even if we have a slip up, we don't want to fall into that trap of, I'm a failure, I'm this, I'm that. It's like, no, I've made a mistake. Pick yourself up and go again. And that's it. 100% you are free. You're just human and you make mistakes. And then we do remember to adapt this ruthless attitude to inner critic. They're not our wounded inner child, not a friend, they're not something that you picked up and cuddled. We need to really sort of like go, no, I'm not into it. You are my friend. Right? You're not there to look after me. You're not there to soothe me. Your only goal in life is to get me to binge eat. And we need to remember that we don't listen to what the inner critic tells us to eat, because we are adults. We make our own decisions. So, is your inner critic a night walker that owns out? The problem we've got is people hear a lot say, I can be good all day. But then all of a sudden, they ruin their progress at night. Whether that's, after they've had their meal, I need a sweet treat, I need a snack. Or, as I said before, even getting up in the middle of the night and having, half a loaf of bread and toast and cereal and 3 packets of biscuits. Now, we've got to remember this is a serious problem, because going to sleep after consuming so many calories, particularly the ones that we're normally using, because we're not filling up on, plates of broccoli. We're not having roast dinners before we go to bed. We're not having, chicken and broccoli and healthy food. We're consuming highly palatable, full of sugar, full of processed ingredients that are full of empty calories, spike our insulin levels, and actually really pile on the pounds. They also cause that inflammation and bloating, because then you're struggling to sleep. You've got that bad feeling, you wake up and feeling bad. And obviously they add to your risk of the health conditions. Research as well has also suggested that meal and calorific size tends to increase as the day goes on. So what that means is that, you start to eat more and your portions get bigger as the day goes on. Which means people who eat at night may actually consume more overall calories than people who don't. Because we're going, so I skipped breakfast, I had a light lunch. Okay, well, I can have a big meal in the evening. But because we've then let it get to the end of the day, we're consuming more. So, you might have skipped lunch, skipped breakfast, lunch, but then having an extra 1,000 calories more than you were planning to do, because I haven't eaten all day, because it's later on in the day, which causes that problem. This problem is actually one of the hardest to solve. And it's much more difficult to solve than the other eating problems I've found out with clients. Because what nighttime eating does is it masks problems that need addressed first. And because people just go, oh, I've just got a problem, I can't eat at night. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. And in the beginning, I was like, well, we'd go through all of the tools and the processes and go, well, why is this so different? Why is this hard? Right? I go, it just doesn't make any sense, you know, because it works okay. People during the day, it works. Well, why isn't this working at night? And it wasn't until I realized one thing. Virtually all my clients struggling with nighttime eating are actually having difficulty putting enough time and love into themselves. Okay. They weren't prioritizing enough time, nutrition, self-nutrition during the day. They just weren't. They were busy looking after everyone else, doing everything for everyone, right? And what everyone had in common was feeling there hadn't been enough time during the day for care. It was almost as if they weren't entitled to it or didn't deserve to take it. Now, these people were almost all putting self-care last and other care first. Therefore, when that critic said in the evening, oh, come on, there's at least one little pleasure we can indulge. There's that packet of biscuits in the cupboard. There's that chocolate. Let's get some. It's very seductive because you feel that's the only time you've got for yourself. Because you're late now, it's 10 o'clock. I haven't got time to run a bath now. I haven't got time to meditate. I want to put my feet up and watch the telly for an hour before I go to bed at 11 to get up and do all this again. And your inner critic loves that, and it's going after you all of the time saying that. But here's so the hardest part, and I've done this a lot with you guys, convincing them that they needed more self-care. Okay, most clients believe they're putting enough time. We're putting enough time in self-love and self-nutrition, but you know that nighttime eating didn't stop. They would say, "Oh, well, I do this. I meditate for 10 minutes. I do that." But there's obviously a weakness, a gap, and it's the first thing that goes. Okay, it's the first thing that disappears, and it's like there's a million little demons on the shoulders saying, "Don't even consider that." And I work hard with clients to help pull them off because it's like, well, I haven't got time for this, I haven't got time for that. Got this, kids need that, husband needs that, work needs that. And it's a little crazy making and hard to believe at first. But if your instincts there going, well, that doesn't apply to me, you know, it may well still do because we were very good at lying to ourselves until we sit down and look at where our self-care sits and what we're doing. So what guys are quick exercise, okay? So before I sort of go through the 5 deadly sins, okay, I want you to do this quick exercise, okay? I want you to write down at least 5 reasons why it is absolutely impossible for you to find an extra 30 minutes a day for self-care, or why it's 100% clear you're already doing enough. This is a negative one, okay? There's 5 reasons why it is absolutely possible for you to find an extra 30 minutes a day for self-care, or why it's 100% clear that you're already doing enough. Now, once got the 5 reasons done. 3 questions we need to ask ourselves. The first one is, what were the reasons? Okay. Then we have to ask ourselves, how true are they? Don't forget, I'll put reasons, not excuses. So it's really important to notice that. But how true are they? And they can actually be challenged at all. Once you've written it down on paper and you see it in black and white, you go, yeah. Is that really true? Am I making an excuse there? You know, can I use this? Can I challenge? Okay, it's a really important thing to do, because the whole purpose of this is we've got to really understand where these things lie, because this is obviously an issue, right? And I say it's all the time, it's bothering you, right? We wouldn't be on a call, we wouldn't be on trainings doing this, we wouldn't be working together if this wasn't a problem. What we've got to do is determine the importance of these and listen to reasoning and listen to what's being said. Again, take a moment, look at your list and just ask these 6 questions. What were the reasons? How true are they? And can they be challenged at all? Okay. So, one of my favorite films. I'm going to take you through 5 cruel truths about nighttime eating that you need to know and how we can help deal with them. Okay? So I hope you can handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. I love that film. Anyway. First one. Okay? Contributors to nighttime eating problem, right? First, daytime caloric or nutritional restriction. Sounds quite sensible, right? Sounds like it makes sense, but we keep doing it. Now, always picks the wrong time. The thing about this, caloric or nutritional restriction is when we're not having enough healthy food during the day, especially for those people who are sure they are eating enough. So what can we do? Well, first one is eat a healthy breakfast. Now, whatever time of day you decide that to be, right? I could say eat a healthy first meal of the day. Second one is track your intake for a week in a food journal or with MyFitnessPal, and this isn't about that, but what we're doing is looking at the food you're eating, what you're actually doing. So, like I always do when people start working, I do that food diary for 2 weeks to see, or 4 weeks, to see what we're eating, when we're eating. Okay, we can track it, because quite often we're quite good at telling ourselves lies, especially when doing diet culture for years. We're very good at lying to ourselves. Then, if you're not doing your meal plan for the week or for the day, plan out your dinner early. Make sure you've got the necessary ingredients. Don't leave it until the last minute, because if you do, what's going to happen? You eat really poor choices. Look at eliminating or minimizing those empty calories in ultra high processed foods or high GI foods like flours and sugars. The other thing you could be doing is you can be getting enough calories, but not enough nutrition. Guess what? That just causes your body to continue to send very strong signals. So if you're eating high processed food, go away. Right. Yeah. If you're eating ultra processed foods, and what's happening is you're getting the wrong signals. You're getting this lighting up in your brain of things. Okay. Then getting these hormonal changes. You get an increase in ghrelin and peptides, which is messing with your natural rhythm. So that's why when you eat it, you have a sense of full, but you're not full. So keep eating, and it's not so much. So you're not having a meal. The second one is irregular daytime eating. Even if you're eating healthy and getting enough calories, it's entirely possible to throw your system into hunger drive at night if you're not eating with predictable regularity. Sometimes not enough chewing can cause a problem in people who rely almost exclusively on smoothies. You know, when when you see this, people who do the soup stuff, you see, we actually need the experience of actually chewing and swallowing our food to signal safety and abundance. Our stomach needs to process it. We need to send those messages. Research suggests that long gap between meals during the day, the more excess calories people consume. Now, obviously, if this is a challenge and you do that, you have to then look at maybe eating later in the day and pushing your meal plan. I'm always talking intermittent fasting there, but I'm not. I'm just talking about moving your window so that you start eating later in the day. But it's about, if you haven't got a plan, not tracking your hunger and fullness, not looking at when you're eating, you're going to struggle to understand this. And you're just going to start making it up, and then you'll let your critic kick in. Then we've got to think about, alongside this, when we're eating during the day, the food sensitivities. There's some evidence that indulging in food-sensitive substances during the day actually contribute to nighttime binges. So you need to find and eliminate those. Now, there's the common ones. We talk about gluten and dairy, because what happens is we bloat during the day, we feel off, and then we eat it, or we'll go, well, I feel bloated now, so I might just eat what I want because I've ruined it. You think, I'll put weight on, when you haven't. All you've done is our actions to food, and you get bloated. But again, it's about understanding what foods impact you. Then we've got the common one, stress. We all know stress can dramatically upset our hormonal balance. Your cortisol starts going over the place. Your stress levels are through the roof. If you feel you don't deserve or can't take time for self-care, meditation, exercise, baths, journaling, naps, guess what? Your body may fight back with rising cortisol levels, which will upset your sleep and hunger patterns. And we'll come to sleep in a bit, okay? Because that's coming up. But where can you actually intervene to manage stress better during the day? Well, there's walking. Like I said, there's journaling. There's spending time with pets. There's yoga. There's intimacy. There's drawing, identifying one good thing that happened each day, celebrating your wins, showing gratitude, calling a friend, meditation, short exercise bursts, 10 star jumps, or, I would say 5 burpees, but nobody's going to be able to do 5 burpees. But short exercise bursts, breathing exercise, doing some breathing exercises, whether it's aromatherapy, eating foods high in B vitamins like leafy greens, avocados, broccoli, listening to your favorite music, preparing for the day tomorrow and ahead of the time in writing, having a plan. Wow, being prepared. Wouldn't that be a surprise? Then watching and listening to comedy. My wife has found Lee Evans on Audible. Honestly, I've never seen it lift somebody's mood so quickly. Look at your past successes. I could talk about capturing wins. You can start getting some success in there. Looking at routines, even vacuuming. I've promised that I'm going to vacuum every morning and put it in my routine. And then shift your focus of control. Avoid those powerless statements. I can't. Oh, I'm worthless. But put your attention on things you can actually do and deliver. And sometimes just think about taking time off, taking an afternoon. Turn your phone off. Let that stress just pass through you. Focus on just one thing to actually worry about rather than others. Take control of your surroundings. And then avoid people who bother you where possible. It's not always possible, not always potentially not always something you can do, but you need to identify if you can. Then the other killer that kicks in on nighttime eating, which sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? Nighttime eating, not enough sleep, is not enough or regular sleep. Now, here's the thing. Your body can confuse the need for sleep with the need for hunger. Which is why quite often you wake up at night and go, oh, I'm hungry. No, it's tired. It wants you to go back to sleep, but you're going, oh, I must be hungry. The inhibitory abilities of your cortex are actually diminished when you're sleep deprived. So guess what? You haven't got the things in your higher brain to go, shut up, critic. Your critic's going, oh, hello. I've been let out of my cage. I can have a go now, because you're sleep deprived. That's why you make really poor decisions when you're tired. When you're tired, your goals and dreams seem less important because actually you want to sleep. So how can you actually get better sleep? Well, funnily enough, have a regular sleep schedule. Go to bed, wake up at the same time every day. Try adding hours to this routine. If you normally spend 8 hours in bed, try spend 9. Or, you know, so instead, try and spend 8. If you don't have the time, you know, if you think you don't have the time, black out your room. Have blackout curtains or a mask. Try taking a bath before bed. Drink chamomile tea, sort of a tea that's going to be soothing. Get some lavender in the room. Listen to some podcasts, you know, those music, those headspace that calm you down. I think, was it Matthew McConaughey reads one of the books, is one of the bestsellers. And, you know, you just listen to it and it just sends you off to sleep. Trying to eliminate noise pollution to the greatest extent. Because again, that could be a real thing. I had a terrible sleep this week when I've been in Norwich because the hotel didn't have any air conditioning. They have the windows open and the traffic was throughout the night. And they have coaches that run through the night. And on the hour, there's a set of traffic lights and all I hear is, this vehicle's turning left. This vehicle's turning left. They kept waking me up because I couldn't actually shut the window because the room was like so hot. Like I said, you need to think about sticking to that sleep schedule and thinking about removing those blue light, going off your devices earlier. Create that bedtime ritual. Unwind each night, you know, brushing your teeth, turn the light off, set the temperature. Make sure a comfortable mattress. You get enough physical activity during the day. Turn your clock around so you're not waking up at night going, oh, clock watching. It's the worst thing you can do. Stop working in bed. Your bedroom is for 2 things. The 2 S's. I'll let you figure out what they are. One that I should do, but I never do, kick your pets out of bed. Can't do that. I love them. And then eliminating stimulants and drinks and food, energy bars, chocolates. All right. And eliminate alcohol because it's the worst thing you can do. But when you're looking at this, think about your sleep hygiene, getting it right. Because remember, every hour of disturbed sleep you have impacts the binge eating by 10 to 15%. So if you had 3 hours poor sleep, you got a 45% chance of binge eating next day because your hormones are all to cock. Then last one is sort of like looking at not enough fun or of a real pleasure. You need to sort of like look at making time to integrate fun and relaxation of types of pleasure in life. Here's the thing. You not only deserve it, it's kind of part of your job as an adult in the world. So you can actually take care for others. If you are constantly people-pleasing and giving, are you really looking after them at that? So try to have at least one of these things you can't do at night before bed. Otherwise, you can have a critic always going, the only good thing in life is that food in the cupboard. Now, remember, you can ignore the critic regardless, but you don't give ammunition. Put things in life for you to do. Focus on that. So what defense measures can you put in place to help this? First thing is, okay, if you do end up downstairs in the night, right, have plenty of health snacks around in case you decide to eat. Like, be prepared for it. Have a little box even. Prepare pre-measured snacks so that you feel good about it. Obviously, look at distraction. Find something to occupy your mind and your hands at night, whether it's reading, knitting, writing. Create that ritual. Close the refrigerator door, all the cabinets, and clap your hands once for the night, saying, okay, done for the night, kitchen's closed. And then brush your teeth. Like minty toothpaste. Get somebody to sort through things, though. Not accountability, just somebody to help you implement things. You can share things with them. Have you done your routine? Have you checked in? Have you done this? Okay. Look at your food plan and incorporate a food rule for nighttime eating. I will never consume calories between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. on any given calendar day or something of those sorts. Now, if for some reason you end up going to the airport at 4 a.m., right, you're going to break that rule that day. But if you have that rule saying, I'm not going to consume, and believe in it, why do you need to have anything between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m.? You'll know, but if you have that rule, guess what? you've got a plan in place. And again, plan out all your meals and times for a few months if necessary, and then follow your plan. Plan that specific nighttime indulgence if you do it, make it sure so that it's nutritious, right? So that, you know, and you still have some, maybe a little sweet if you need it. And if all else fails, have that particular indulgence that you don't feel that awful about, and plan that time. No, I can't speak to you. I won't give up. And then stop eating by the television and or on the couch. Make a rule that when you're eating, and that's it. Avoid that sedentary eating, you know, the mindless just stuffing as you walk along. And then I try and eliminate your biggest trigger for nighttime eating. And the last bonus one, vitamin D. Are you actually getting enough vitamin D? Because you've got to remember, vitamin D helps blood sugar at night, which is why quite often we see a spike in nighttime eating in the winter months, because we're not getting enough of it. But you can always, again, ask your doctor about it. You can ask him about vitamin B12. But ideally, I know it's been difficult with the weather we've had recently, but get outside. Get a little, even if it's cloudy, you're still getting some natural light, and it makes a huge difference. So, cool. There we go. That's it.